A very warm welcome to the second match of the evening. We're on Apotheosis, spawning to the bottom right hand side in purple. It's our German Zerg from my risk. It's Miezekotze. And to the top left hand corner in teal, playing for Team Hush, our US American Zerg player NoveaStar. And it seems as if Novea wants to get some quick aggression up by planting down the extractor early on and then a spawning pool right behind it, getting gas as soon as possible, which will allow her to build Zergling speed a lot quicker than her opponent, who has actually opted to go for a hatchery first at the natural base, which is also quite interesting. Most Zerg players that want to go for a hatch first on Apotheosis usually take the gold base so that they will have the better income later on, and thus the possibility to produce more lings. And once they get out speed and maybe even the baneling nest, they will usually be able to almost out macro her opponent. Will almost out macro their opponent. If they take the later base, and they will have less resources. Of course, the actual problem sometimes at that point is that both players really have 2 bases and 2 queens and the larva production from 2 hatcheries, but the problem is that the other one just produces more minerals, which is the person with the gold minerals, and thus they will just outproduce you little by little, and you are really dependent on the better traits, so that your banelings will just smash more of their lings, or that their banelings won't get as many lings from you. So this might help out you to swing the fight into your favor, but it's actually quite difficult to do. So Miezekotze just getting her own speed. She now has her base already done. She's already producing a queen over here. No units on the way yet. This is the other part, that Apotheosis is actually a very big map. It doesn't really look that way if you have a look at the minimap, because it's not it's a rectangle, and thus the map might look a bit smaller than it actually is, but the rush distances from one natural base to the other one are actually quite long. So in the meantime, a baneling nest on the way for Miezekotze as well. So finally the speed has finished for Novea, and she now will try to get aggressive with her first few lings and banelings. Is already morphing a few far out of the sight of Miezekotze. Doesn't want to take any risks that Miezekotze might see the first units and will already be able to guess what's coming. But this time around we actually see that Miezekotze has already done her baneling nest, has already finished it, and the first few banes are already morphing. So once Novea finally arrives at her base, Miezekotze will actually have the first few banelings already, and now she will be able to like move somewhere, but her own banes are just glued towards the queen. So it seems as if actually a lot of banes walk right into her mineral line, actually only getting 5 workers here, which is considered that it's early game quite a lot by itself, but considering how many banelings and lings actually died in that action, I don't know if it was really worth it. Miezekotze is still losing some mining time with the 2 drones down here, is not actually pulling them back. So it is actually as if Miezekotze was missing like 7 drones and not only 5. Now finally realizes what's happening and pulls them back. In the meantime, Novea has tried to take her own base behind that push. Now prepares for some sort of counter push that she has to be careful about and has to be aware about. But yeah, actually nothing of that sort is coming from Miezekotze anyways. So if we just have a look at the workers display, we see that it's 20 to 20 workers, so both are almost equal at that point in time. The only thing that actually speaks for Miezekotze right now is the upgrade in the evolution chamber over here, and another evolution chamber already in the making. Well, the interesting thing about this game right now is that Miezekotze should actually know right from the start that NoveaStar really likes to play with mutas and to switch into mutas in the mid game, and then also just trying to overwhelm her opponent with mutas in the late game, maybe even some vipers to get out Parasitic Bomb if the opponent also decides to go into Mutas. And Miezekotze actually has quite a kind of hard counter learned against that, which is actually just producing mass links and getting the upgrades done, because then usually you can just overwhelm your opponent, and speed links with the upgrades just deal a shit ton of damage later on. So you will normally be able to just, even if you really doesn't have enough anti-air in order to take a head-on fight against the Mutas, it just doesn't matter, because you can just out-micro your opponent's Mutas and just attack where the Mutas are not. So whenever the Mutas try to get into your base, you just get some Spore Crawlers up. The Spore Crawlers will help you defend at home, and then you just tear down everything at your opponent's base with just upgraded links. So we'll see whether Miezekotze is actually doing what I'm expecting here to do there, or not. But yeah, thus far it actually seems to be what I told you beforehand. Now even getting these third base up at the gold minerals. So she will be able to even produce more links later on. And there's the spire that Novea is so known for. And that's actually the part of the league where it gets really interesting once players just try to get through with their style again and again, and then at some point realizing that actually your opponents prepare for your style, they actually know what you do, and then you have to think of something else, and then you have to improve. And that is actually part of what the FSL is all about. So, Miezekotze again just checking for another base. That's actually something she hasn't been doing as well as in a lot of her other games. Just having a lot of links out on the map and in positions where she just wants to check for third bases. But this time around she actually just needs every unit here. Okay, just walks in with one Baneling ahead, so maybe she might even get some links that are not paying attention. And they just run into that Baneling and she already gets a good kill, but this time around she just almost immediately kills those Spine Crawlers that were actually the biggest part of the defense, and now even getting the biggest burst ever with like one Baneling that killed about like 7, 8 or 9 links at once. The upgraded links just stream in from every angle, killing off everything that's not upgraded itself. Even the links are inferior towards to Miezekotze's links. We see the supply falling rapidly, 79 to 38. And even if Novea just happened to somehow hold this push over here, the damage has already been dealt. 22 workers have already died. Miezekotze has already a third base up. She will now even be able to tear down these oh so important Spire, the only tech advantage that Novea has, who's now just trying to desperately produce a few more Mutas that might help her to defend against the links over here. Even putting more Banelings into the lair might even be able to take that one down. Spire falls, 50 workers have died. The rest of the links also streams in. More links are streaming across the map. There's actually just nothing that Novea can do. There's just not enough Mutas to defend at every angle, and even if the Mutas finally kill off a few links, the next big amount of links are just on their way, taking down a third base here as well. So only one base left for Novea, and actually nothing to mine. I mean, there's no workers over here. Even if Novea just eventually would clean this up, it just wouldn't help anymore, and Miezekotze takes the first game. Back on New Gettysburg as the second map of the evening. Oh, this match. It's not of the evening, but of this match. Spawning to the bottom left-hand side in purple, we have Miezekotze leading 1-0. And to the bottom right-hand side in teal, it's NoveaStar. And we'll see if Novea somehow switches it up. Not thus far. Again, going into Extractor and then into Pool. There it goes actually here. Okay, that's actually quite interesting. A lot of players just also want to put the spawning pool close to their extractor. There's actually no real reason behind it. You can actually just put the put the spawning pool over here in order to fully close this off. There's still a lot of entrances toward your mineral line anyways. But yes, sometimes you can do this. The drones will not have any problems mining off gas if you just put it over here. But yeah, just putting the extractor over here and then the pool over there is just something you don't see that often. So Miezekotze just responding with almost an identical build. Well, you can't really say responding. She actually chose to, because she doesn't have, didn't get any information. No, hasn't gotten any information yet. So you can't really say respond, but that's actually what she wanted to do. Actually gets the hatchery out a little bit earlier. This might be an indicator that Novea wants to ramp up the aggression and might even be going for a full-out all-in. So we'll see. At least Miezekotze will have a few more lava available earlier on, and this could just decide everything. I mean, ZvZ still is a pretty fragile matchup, and small advantages can make a huge difference very early on in the game. So here's finally the follow-up hatchery for NoveaStar, but like we said, she will have the tech earlier on, but she won't have the masses early on. So has almost her bailiness is almost done, and actually quite interesting, Miezekotze switching right into a roach warren here, not trying to go into the Ling Bane wars if she can avoid it. So it seems as if she just wants to produce a few early roaches in order to close or seal off that ramp over here, and then just outproduce her opponent with roaches, getting over with a quick rush, and then just kill everything off. But it might be kind of difficult. It really depends on how committed Novea will actually be in this game. So if she decides to, whoa, might even now lose one Baneling for one Ling, not really worth it. Although, of course, the good thing is that the Bane, or actually I think the Ling did get the necessary information, did it? No, okay. Well, okay, Miezekotze didn't see the Baneling nest, but she saw the Baneling. So it doesn't really matter, she actually got all the information. While at the same time, Novea doesn't know anything about Miezekotze's plans here, and will get totally surprised by a lot of roaches just marching across the map into her natural base. And with Lings and Banelings alone, even with one Spine Crawler, she will not be able to hold this. I mean, when will be the earliest, okay, maybe not this Overlord. This Overlord will come close towards the natural ramp. So once Miezekotze pushes out, even just trying to hide her units for as long as possible. And now even driving away the Overlord over here. Nice play by Miezekotze there, knowing that the longer her opponent doesn't know what's up, the better it's going to be for her. And now Novea will finally realize what's headed her way. A lot of roaches in addition to a lot of lings. And, well, I mean, that's just caught with your pants down, I would say. Novea just tries to make the best out of the situation, just tries to hide her Banelings in good positions, where if Lings rushed in, she would just hit with these Banelings and maybe kill off a lot of them. But the problems are not the Lings, ladies and gentlemen. The problem are the roaches. And there's just so many of them, and even more just walking across the map as we speak. And there's actually nothing that Novea can do against it, just trying desperately to get her own roach warren up, but it just won't work. Spinecrawler will die almost immediately, no transfuses available, and that's like the only defensive forces that Novea has. But Lings just don't cut it against roaches, not even with the health of 3 or 4 Banelings. And now she just walks in, kills off the Queen, and from here on out there's actually not much that Novea can actually do. The next Spire will also die. Novea just tries to pull her probes away, but where to? I mean, there's nothing to defend, there's nothing that's keeping Miezekotze from getting inside her main base. And Miezekotze just won't waste her time tearing this base down. She knows that everything she needs to kill is up here, especially after the drones have been evacuated towards the main base. Yeah, just rushes in, puts more, or puts the rally point of her own units into Novea's base, and now just kills off everything. I mean, there's just nothing that Novea can do. I mean, finally she's managed to get her own war drone up, even tries to produce a few roaches, but she already realizes it won't be enough. And GG, Miezekotze takes the second game. King Sejong Station is our chosen third map of this series. Spawning to the top left hand side in purple is Miezekotze. Quite surprised she's not orange to satisfy one of her users, one of her viewers. And to the bottom right hand side in teal, we have the other Zerg player. It's NoveaStar. And again, she does it again. Goes into Extractor and into Spawning Pool. Never change a losing tactic, I guess? No. We don't know yet. So maybe she does want to get aggressive this time around. While Miezekotze again, actually this is quite interesting, going for an early hatch. And this is actually a map where defending an early map against a pool, an early pool with speed, is really, really difficult to do. So this would like be the best chance for Novea to get herself back into the series. I mean, build-wise, she actually has a slight advantage right now. She just has to use it. So we'll see whether she will be able to do that or not. Miezekotze finally finishing her own Extractor, now going into Spawning Pool, even doing the totally greedy variation or variant of that build by choosing to go into Pool and into Extractor and then into Pool. So the Pool will be delayed even a little bit more. So you will have the possibility to build Queens and Lings even a little bit later. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it can totally work if the opponent is not pressuring you at all. You are also you're also able to hold it. I mean, it's not like you instantly lost if your opponent goes for that opening and you chose to go hatch first. You will still be able to hold it, but it's going to be kind of difficult if your opponent really commits and is microing well. So let's see how this is going to work for Novea this time around. And this time around she uses her aggressive potential, has 6 Zerglings already on the way, is not really producing any more at the moment, but there they are. So yeah, no second base now. Miezekotze has already realized what's headed her way, has seen that her opponent has not even tried to take another base. So let's see how she's going to respond. Builds a Baneling Nest immediately, tries to just build some choke points with buildings, and probably later on also queens. Now she's already realized that where her opponent is. Actually a nice move here by Miezekotze. I don't know if it's deliberately done or if Novea just wasn't paying attention. But yeah, Miezekotze just sending a Ling across the map that just meets these Lings over here. And a few Lings even try to follow that Ling, so yeah, she even loses a little bit of time for her aggression as well. So like I said, just trying to build up some narrow points so that it's not that wide of an open field for units to get in. I think actually you want to put like a queen over here so that units just can't rush through there anyways. And here the first push comes. We have a lot of Banelings in here, but also 2 queens defending. Lings just trying to get on top of that Banelings, but Novea just move commanding these Banelings. She really wants to get inside Miezekotze's main base, even gets good hits with the first few Banes over here, kills about 8 workers. That is kind of a lot, but not really that much. I mean, she's ahead in workers now with 17 workers, but she's still down 1 base. I mean, she has 1 hatchery in the making as we speak, but the biggest problem now will be the counter attack that Miezekotze is already preparing here. She also has 2 Banelings up she also has 2 Banelings here at the entrance towards her own natural base. So if her opponent decided to counter attack, she might even be able to just fend it off with those 2 Lings over there. Okay, Miezekotze just trying to attack some more, and as we can see, well, both players actually droning. I mean, Miezekotze can actually afford to drone right now because she's putting the pressure on. Ooh, good Baneling hit there by Novea, and I think that just should shut down the aggression for now. Yeah, and if we have a look at that right now, we already see that because of that aggression and everything that Novea tried to do, she wasn't really able, and she had to prepare for the counter push, she wasn't really able to just get ahead in workers. Since her own base was so late, she didn't really have the possibility to produce more workers while she was pressuring Miezekotze at the own natural base. And now it seems to be almost an even game, but yeah, Miezekotze just has the advantage from earlier on in the game and will just be able to produce more drones because of the additional lava she had available right from the get-go. So, okay, actually nice bending hits over here. Also nice movement by Miezekotze, just sending in 1 or 2 Lings, getting 1 Baneling hit over here as well. So again, Novea just loses one of her important Banelings. And it seems as if Miezekotze just thinks to herself that after pressuring her opponent that hard, Novea actually is going to be kind of afraid. We actually see how afraid she is if we have a look at these spine crawlers and even another one being built up. So yeah, Novea is scared shitless, we can actually say at that point in time. She's really afraid of more lings or even maybe roaches incoming from Miezekotze's side of the map. I mean, she actually has sown everything inside Miezekotze's base, right? Should have seen that there was no roach warren over there, so probably she's just afraid of more lings and banelings running in. But yeah, I mean, investing that many resources into so much static defense, of course that gives your opponent the opportunity to just go for another hatchery and then just out-macro you in the long run. So Miezekotze again just sending some units across the map, always checking for potential third bases. Now just morphing in some banelings. Wants actually to ramp up some aggression, won't be able to get through here, I think, cost efficiently. Maybe if Novea is not paying attention, she might lose a lot of her lings into one big baneling blast. But actually that shouldn't really happen. Oh, seems to be also trying to tear down the debris back here. Maybe even now luring some of the units back to the rocks. Yeah, actually just getting one spine crawler back there, so it's out of position right now. Okay, Miezekotze tries to get in, tries to get some worker kills. Only 4 for 2 banelings. It's kind of okay-ish. Not the best hit you could wish for, but still worth their price. Well, not completely. If you just figure out the resources, it's like... Oh no, actually it's fine. It's 200 to 200 almost. So yeah, resource-wise, it's okay-ish. But like I said, not the best trade you could actually get. Okay, so just throwing in some more Banes over here. And yeah, now Novea just closing in. There's no Baneling left, so Novea can just attack without being afraid of any Baneling hits. Has to be careful though. Miezekotze just still producing a few more Lings and Banelings outside of Novea's base. Wants to get in once more. And more Lings even incoming. So Miezekotze really seems to feel that she has an opportunity over here. And actually the tactic that Novea is so well known for, going into mutas early on, is again just not paying out for her. Miezekotze just again rallying units across the map. These are 1-1 lings once more. Yeah, and it seems as if Miezekotze was just able to read her opponent like a book in this series. She just blind countered what NoveaStar was doing by just knowing what she was going to build anyways and doing the hard counter. And congrats, it paid off very well. 3-0 for Miezekotze.